man comes across weird-looking flower in forest, but when he tried to touch it, the flower started flying away. Two men were off on a hike through the jungle when they came across something that made them both stop. They immediately went to look and realized that they were looking at a flower. However, as one of the men knelt down to touch the flower, they soon realized something terrifying. A jungle is land covered with lots of vegetation and tons of trees. It's due to the vast greenery that many animals find a home in the rainforest, as the lush greenery gives them perfect places to find shelter and food. Jungles can also be quite relaxing, and that is why many people choose to hike through them. You can come across many beautiful sights in a jungle. Some of these include waterfalls and vast arrays of beautiful flowers that grow amongst the trees. Since jungles can provide us with such a beautiful scene, many choose to engage in hikes through them. That's exactly how two men found themselves trekking through the jungle. They were planning on spending a nice day out in the tropical rainforest. The men were walking around and enjoying the day when they came across something that made them stop in their tracks. They decided to observe it from afar at first. After all, you could never be too cautious in the rainforest. Then one of the men decided to proceed closer. The men quickly realized that what they were staring at was a rare and beautiful flower. It was a white flower with a design and look that they had never seen before. In fact, they were pretty confused as they continued to stare at it. Eventually, the men's curiosity got the best of them. They didn't know what exactly the flower was, but they knew that they had to get closer. So one of the men knelt down and quickly poked the flower. He was surprised when the flower actually moved. As the men poked the flower, he was surprised to see that the flower moved about. The man quickly called over his friend so that he could see the moving flower for himself. That's when the flower began to do something else incredible. This time, instead of just moving slightly, the flower began to fully spread out. The men couldn't understand how a flower could be moving around so much. That's when the flower began to reveal a head. The flower began to continue to move around and revealed a head. Then the flower spread itself out and began to fly and run away from the men. That's when the men realized that this was no flower. That was when the men realized that the flower they were so intrigued by was actually a bird. However, it wasn't just any bird. The men were incredibly curious, so they decided to look up what kind of bird it was on the internet. The bird in question happened to be a lyrebird. Lyrebirds can be found in the rainforest habitats in Victoria and New South Wales, as well as Tasmania since the 19th century. They are quite an interesting bird, as the men were about to find out. The origins of the lyrebird's name come from the lyre, an ancient Greek string instrument. The lyrebird's unique 16-feather tail display resembled the body of a lyre and thus inspired their name. The lyrebird also happens to make quite a unique sound. Lyrebirds are well known for being able to imitate both natural and man-made sounds. They've even been featured on Sir David Attenborough's Life of Birds series. Sir David Attenborough has often described the sound that lyrebirds make as the most elaborate, most complex, and most beautiful song in the world. If you happen to come across a lyrebird, you'll be able to hear a wonderful song as they sing all throughout the year. The most unique part is that lyrebirds can create a sound that is both beautiful and horribly harsh. Sometimes they can create a sound that sounds like a car engine or even like a dog barking. Other times they can imitate loud alarms or bells. Lyrebirds are also quite shy birds, and that is why they prefer to live in a jungle. A jungle climate gives them the perfect area that they can hide away in. However, it also allows them to mate easily. The lyrebird's mating call is also able to echo throughout the jungle. This allows them to call over females that they can mate with. During a mating call, you can often hear a beautiful melodious song coming from the lyrebird males. The men were beyond amazed by all of the information that they'd come across. They couldn't believe that they thought they had spotted a flower. It was pretty amazing to them that they came across such an interesting bird. The men were so intrigued that they decided to continue their hike while looking out for the lyrebird. However, it seems that the one they spotted had been pretty spooked. They unfortunately didn't come across him again. Although they didn't get to see the lyrebird again, the men still felt lucky that they were able to get as close as they did. The men will certainly never forget about their unique run-in with a beautiful and melodious lyrebird.